Live, and we were waiting for Facebook. Hey Facebook, we're live. And I'll never get the lighting just right. That's just something I'm going to have to get on board with. It's just the way it is, folks. Okay, so it's Friday and it's time for another live. I feel like it's been a little bit since I've been live because I've been traveling like crazy. And then I had some demon cold for the past week or so, and trust me, you did not want to see me live with like tissues hanging out of my nose. I have whenever I have a runny nose, it's like really runny, okay? But we're back and we're here, and I have a fun topic that I teased the last time I did a live, and I actually put in the comments on my YouTube channel, what do you want to hear about? And this one was the winner. And the topic is wardrobe trauma. Ooh, fun! Who doesn't love some good old-fashioned trauma on a Friday afternoon? Wardrobe trauma. Now, before we jump into the topic, as we're allowing more people to come on, I'm going to warn you. Here's a little mini Lauren rant. I'm waiting for UPS, and if they come and ring the doorbells, the dogs are going to go batshit crazy, and it's going to be mayhem for like a minute or so. But let me just tell you something about UPS right now, okay? My package was supposed to be delivered by 10:30 today, and they have like a little thing where you can watch the little truck. So I'm on the phone, I was doing a magazine interview this morning, and I'm watching the truck, and I'm like, I don't want the truck to come, I don't want the dog to bark and ruin my interview. I watched that truck whiz right by my house. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's lost, he's gonna turn around. Dude, hours go by. So I call UPS and they're like, oh yeah, he's delivering packages in the order on his list, not in the order of where they are. So this fool's just zigzagging around town, just whizzing by houses with packages. Guaranteed delivery 10:30. It's 12:30. It's 2 hours. So I'm a little heated at UPS right now, but that's neither here nor there unless the doorbell rings and the dogs go crazy. So you've been warned, okay? That's what happens when you have dogs at work, and dogs at work make everything better, so it's just a risk I'm willing to take. All right, back to the topic. Wardrobe trauma. Now, this is like a little something. I like to think that I made it up, but it could already be a thing. I don't know, but let's just say that I'm officially coining this a thing. Wardrobe trauma is when you have some past shit that you are carrying around with you that is affecting your wardrobe in the present moment. Now, everyone knows about trauma just in general. Like, we carry around trauma in so many different areas of our lives, and until we acknowledge the trauma and work through the trauma, it's going to haunt us, and it's going to just screw things up. So let's think about it in some examples that maybe we can all relate to before we actually get into like the whole fashion thing about it. So think about dating, okay? You date a loser and you're like, oh my gosh, how could I have dated that loser for so long? What the heck? I'm never gonna date a person like that again. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm dating a person like that again. What the hell's going on? Like, you keep repeating the same mess and you keep getting the same results because you never actually looked at what was really going on. You were like, that's a loser, whatever, keep it pushing, and then you got like a whole new grouping of losers. Sometimes it shape shifts and you're like, I'm never gonna date a loser like that, and then you get a new loser. And until you realize the problem was you and baggage you are carrying around that you brought to the situation, you're just doomed to repeat the same exact process. So a very similar thing will happen in our wardrobes where we will start having maybe negative results in what we're wearing or a negative experience around fashion. And it could be traced back to some form of wardrobe-related trauma that has happened in your life. I know, this is crazy, right? This is like, what? Wardrobe trauma? So I'm going to give you a couple examples, and I will keep them vague-ish because they actually come from real clients that I've worked with. I will not use their names, but I think these are really good examples to kind of show you what the hell I'm talking about. So client number one was raised poor, okay? Family did not have any money. Really, Campbell? The dog's like digging a hole in the ground right now. Okay, client number one, raised poor, did not have money. She had to shop at like Goodwill and places like that growing up. That's just where she got her clothes. That was just her life, okay? So that is just the reality for a lot of different people. And I'm not saying that's like good or bad or that's like some screwed up trauma, but it's something that she carried with her in her upbringing to create her as a person and her relationship with clothes. So fast forward to today, she's a very successful woman. She's got a kick-ass job. She makes plenty of money. She does not need to shop at Goodwill anymore. However, she has swung so far in the opposite direction because she never really addressed that trauma related to her wardrobe and to building out her closet and her look. So now she has admitted to me, which is why, we're working together to move through this, but she just buys stuff just for the sake of buying it. So she buys because she can. She buys because she's like, F you, I don't have to shop at Goodwill anymore. So when she's like coming to and from work, she will just stop at, Zara or H&M or like whatever store is on her way to work. I don't know. And she'll just buy stuff. And now her closet is just overflowing with items. They've got tags on them still. They are never worn, but she didn't make that connection that it was related to her past. She was just like, cool, I got a good job, I got money now, I like to buy a lot of stuff. She mentioned that she had grown up, poor. So she was just buying, and her problem, which is why she originally came to me, was that her style did not have any identity. She just had a bunch of stuff, and her wardrobe was bursting at the seams, and she couldn't understand why she didn't really like anything. So that was the trauma that was carrying over to her spending habits and over to her wardrobe. So what we had to work through was the fact that, okay, grew up in a certain way, that's just the way that it was, you survived, you came out a strong, successful woman, but you don't have to prove anything to anybody. The people at the store, when you're in there every day, swiping your card, opening up your wallet, they don't know that you couldn't do this before. So you're not proving anything to them. You're just really damaging yourself because it was making her feel uncomfortable to have a closet that was just overflowing and to get dressed every day and not feel beautiful and not feel powerful and not feel strong, even though her wallet said I'm powerful and strong and the ability to buy said that. So once we got to the core of like, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You are awesome. Use that same awesome brain to stop making these choices again and again, and let's make new choices. And that's exactly why we started working together, and it was awesome because we got to discover who she really was past this proving herself to be a successful woman, and now her wardrobe is like about to kick ass, okay? We got her some really fabulous stuff, and it's super exciting. So that's an example of something that was in your early life that is really still with you. And you can drop it. Like, she's dropped it. It's over. It's like not part of her script anymore because she looked at it head on and looked at her behavior in relation to it, and it's over. Okay, here's another example. Client number two, she does not dress well, okay? Did not dress well. She does now. And we got to the root of what that issue was. The root was her mother dresses exceptionally well, and her mother would constantly push on her through her whole childhood, teenage years, adult life. This is an adult woman, to dress better. Why aren't you dressing up? Why aren't you dressing up? You should wear this. How about you try wearing this? Look what I bought you. Put this on. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that. She's rebelling. So like at a young age, when someone's telling you what to do and you don't want to do it, you're rebelling. But she kept sticking to that script. So she's constantly making these bad fashion choices, and she knows that they're bad. Like, she knows she's not dressing her best. She has really good taste, but she's still dressing really lame because she's trying to hurt her mother. Someone says, look at the camera. I got 2 cameras going. One's going to be on YouTube, so I have to look at the main camera. Sorry. So she's making these choices to hurt her mother, but she's only hurting herself because her clothes are not good. They're not a good representation of who she is. She's stuck in her career. She's stuck in her love life. She's stuck everywhere, and it can be directly tied to her clothing because she's carrying around that trauma of her mom telling her how to dress and what to do. So we had to get clear on the fact it's your choice. You're making these choices. You dressing well isn't going to be like, your mom's not going to pop out and say, I told you so. And even if she does, who cares? Who cares? Because you're going to live in pain and suffering and not living to your full potential just because you don't want your mom to be able to say, I told you if you dress better, your life will be better. So once we got past that, to be like, you know what, whose life is this? Is it your life or is it your mother's life? It's yours. Let's move past it, keep it pushing, and bust through that trauma. Now, these aren't obvious connections to people because you just live your life. You don't think about, like, how can I connect the dots to my life not working perfectly well with my clothing? Why, if I dress bad, the default is fashion's stupid, I don't care, people should like me for me, it doesn't matter, I don't want to waste my money on clothes. You come up with this other script, the script that has been predetermined by just so many people. It is so much easier to say it's stupid than to try and to potentially fail or get in touch with something that's a little bit hurtful and painful, So to me, these connections are very obvious, but it takes a minute to sit down and think, like, why do I dress like this? This is crazy. So and if anyone who's worked with me virtually or in person, or any of the women that are in Personal Style University, this is like a whole entire lesson in the program of Being Styled by Lauren, is to really get rid of this crap. I call them style roadblocks. So all of these things that are holding you back from really moving forward and having like awesome style and just awesome results. Like, it's not about looking cute. Looking cute is fun, but it's about what that feeling of confidence can do for you, can do for the rest of your life, okay? So as I was kind of working through this this live chat and thinking about, like, what clients am I going to use for examples, what am I going to talk about, I started getting in touch with, like, a lot of my wardrobe trauma. And I just kicked the camera, I have tons. I have tons. And we wouldn't have time to go through all of my trauma. But one that was kind of, like, weird that I never thought about before was my connection to making my own clothes and, like, being a designer and, like, that whole part of my life and my family. So, like, I don't know, this is trippy. We're just a trip out. I was shopping. There's been so many sales. I've been out of control. I will just say that as I'm waiting for a package, which is a new pair of shoes. I'm freaking out of hand. So I'm shopping and I see this Alexander McQueen sweatshirt. It's on sale, super cute. Black short sleeve sweatshirt, and it's got lace sleeves. It's dope. it was like $500 on sale. Like, I don't even know what the full retail was. And I'm like, I do not need to spend $500 on a sweatshirt that I could make myself. Like, legit, I could make that sweatshirt myself. I went to fashion design school. I know how to make patterns. I know how to sew. I know how to source materials. I know how to make stuff, okay? So, I put in my cart. I didn't check out. But then I was thinking, why am I not making things anymore? Like, why have I erased that part of my creative history as, an artist, an entrepreneur, as a person who works in fashion? And as I went into my innards, okay, I was thinking about how I got started with design and what made me kind of like turn my back on design. The story that I always tell and is just pre-programmed in me is like, I went to school for design, I enjoyed myself, it was fun. When I graduated, the money wasn't there career-wise, I didn't feel prepared for it, it's not what I wanted, so I moved into styling, and that's that story that I know. But as I sat there and I was thinking about wardrobe trauma and I was thinking about this freaking sweatshirt, I was thinking about the fact that the person who taught me how to make clothing and sew and really awakened this part of me was my grandmother. I mean, I give her all the credit, okay? She taught me how to sew, she gave me these bags of fabric, and she just really helped all my creativity come out. So my grandmother passed away years ago, lost her to cancer, and I think a lot of the reason that I don't want to get back into creating is because I don't want to feel those feelings, So it was just kind of interesting because I had never made that connection before. I had never thought about that before. But I'm like, because I have loved making things since I was 5 years old. And now at 37, it has been at least, Jesus. Well, I had a little knitting stint for a while. But it's been at least a good 5-7 years since I've touched anything. So there's something there. So it's something interesting that I want to look at and I want to explore because that's a part of me that I've shut down that could easily be awakened. Someone asked me, I was at a Christmas party for my entrepreneur group, and someone said, have you ever thought about designing a line? Like, I just had this vision for you where you're designing like statement jewelry, and I don't know, like, have you thought about that? And this is before I uncovered this trauma, and I was like, no. I was like, I don't design. And I walked away, and I came back up to her. I was like, actually, no, I do. I went to school for design. Like, I don't know why I just said that. So that like also helped connect the dots when the freaking sweatshirt came into play. And yeah, that's a part of me that I kind of like shut down, a little bit of trauma there. So I'm going to look at that. Maybe UPS is here. Because the dogs are going out. Yoshi. It's not UPS. It's not UPS. Hey, do you guys want a treat? Come here. Live video, folks. That's how it goes. Guys, beat it. I'm trying to work here. Jeez. God. So yeah, that's something that I need to look at and that I need to explore for me. Like, what if my career or my look or something could go to a new height because I am going to choose not to ignore this piece of life that maybe is a little bit painful. And then there's tons of other trauma. I think a big one with me is kind of similar to my client, the ability to spend. I've worked very hard in my career to get to a certain level of success financially, and I've always just wanted to be able to buy whatever the hell I want to buy, Like, I remember way early in my career when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I would go to the grocery store and I'd have to like check my checking account before I checked out. Or if I went to Target, I'd have to be like, okay, really have to make sure that I only buy this dollar amount because I'm going to get paid on this day. So part of just my own personal goal was like, I don't ever want to live like that anymore. Like I want to get to a level of success financially where I can just waltz into Target and just buy whatever I want and not trip on how much money is in the bank. But I've seen it definitely swing the other way where I'm just like, YOLO, buy this, online shopping, add to cart, get the shoes, not care. But I also worked really hard in my life to get out of debt and to be financially free and set myself up for the future. So it's like, if I go too far the other way, I start undoing the good things that I wanted for my life. So I want you to think about that just in your life, but also in relation to style. Like, what is the story you're telling yourself? What has happened in the past that's keeping you from being like your best self in all areas? Looks and otherwise, you know? It's not all about how you look, it's about how you feel. And for me, when I am like suited up, I can show up to my best of my ability and just like kick some ass, folks. I wonder if my shoes are here. Because I was like, after all this UPS drama, I may as well show you guys what I bought. But I'm sure he just zipped past the house again and was like, whatever, Lauren. You ain't never getting your shoes. Ever. What is this? Someone up. Appearance from Yoji and Campbell. Yes, I know. Yoji, you want to be on camera? He's too busy eating treats. This is crazy. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you guys while we're here. I think I nailed all of my points. Yeah, that's the jam. That's wardrobe trauma. I would love I'm going to repost this on my Facebook page, of course, for those of you watching on Facebook. And I'm going to repost the video on YouTube if you didn't get to see the whole entire thing. And I would love for you to share in the comments, like, what is your experience with wardrobe trauma? Do you think this is all just a bunch of hooey? Or are you like, yes, girl, real talk. Look, Stephanie over here gave me a real talk. She's feeling it. If you're feeling it, let's let it out. Let's move past whatever is holding us back in life. And then next week, we are going to be back with a live. I think I've got like a bunch of topics here, but I think next week we should talk about style schizophrenia. Wouldn't that be fun? When your style is so all over the place, you have just completely lost yourself in your wardrobe and just in your being. Actually, that one's perfect because I'm working with a new client who has this exact same issue. So I'm sure I'm going to get like a lot of gems from working with her. So yeah, we'll be back next week with Style Schizophrenia. Thank you everyone who's joined me live. I think I'm going to do more lives because they're just kind of fun, even when shit goes crazy, like dogs barking and shoes not arriving. So stay tuned, folks. Make sure you're following me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube because that's where all the video fun happens. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time.